Hey guys, this is Jennifer from Cedar Ridge Farm. I'm out here at the raised beds out back by the greenhouse. I wanted to come on and show you a few of the things we've got out here. Everything's kind of a pretty good mess this year because I was down from a knee replacement at planting time, and so Steve was kind of stuck doing a lot of it by himself. And I don't know if y'all know or not, but with his job in the springtime they put in a lot of overtime, so he was trying to handle 50, 60 hours a week probably at work and tending to the garden. But we're not sad. I've already canned some beans and made some kraut, and we've still got a few more beans on and some more cabbage. Tomatoes are just now starting to come on. Our cucumbers died again. I think it's something with the soil here in these raised beds, because this is where we put them here on this trellis last year, and they died. They put off a couple and died, and this time he put them up on the other end and they died again. So our daughter Kendall is keeping us in cucumbers right now, because that's my bedtime snack right now, is tomatoes and cucumber from the garden. But anyway, I wanted to show you this tomato. I'm not even sure what variety these are, because like I said, he put everything in the greenhouse. He put all of them out, and so nothing's really marked. So we're just guessing them. When they get ripe, we can tell some of them that way. This, I think, is it's some kind of cherry, obviously, but I have no clue what it is. But this tomato plant, look at this. I'm guessing is every bit of 10, at least 10 feet tall. It goes probably a good 12, 14 inches above the top of the arch. Let me back up here so you can kind of get an idea. I mean, look how tall this thing is. I'm 5'7", and it comes about to here on me. So here's what we got above it, and it's crazy. I told him we'll have a time even finding the ripe tomatoes in here. Look down in here at the little tomatoes. There's just a million. Some of them reminds me of the little spoon tomatoes that I grew last year, but they're too big for that. And then down in here, look at this big guy. Down in here are tons of great big tomatoes. These could be, actually I know, these are German tomatoes. Look at this is how you tell a German tomato from any other variety. I'll show you the difference. The leaves on the German tomato kind of resembles a potato leaf a little. It doesn't have like this. I think this is a pork chop tomato maybe. But see the ridges on the leaves? And the German tomatoes are not like that. They're a smoother, bigger leaf. And this one here, this is the pork chop. It's a yellow tomato that we really do like. We try to put this out every year. Here's the back side of this cherry tomato. I don't know how many plants is there. Probably no more than 2, I'm assuming. But that's here in the raised bed. And then over here that the tomatoes fixing to take over is some oregano that came back from last year, and some lavender. I can't remember I think I put that out this year. The thyme, I've gathered these like a couple of times already. It came back from last year. This is new rosemary that I put out. I've harvested it a couple of times. The basil, well, the cutting shears are laying in the basil. It's been harvested, I think just once, but it's coming back. The strawberries, they're ever bearing, so they've got blooms on them again. This is my bee balm that came back. It's about to take over everything in the raised bed. And then over there is my echinacea. I think the rain that we had and the wind blew all the blooms off. They were drying down anyway. Here's more bee balm. My yarrow came back. I am super happy that this came back, because I didn't know if any of this stuff was even going to come back this time. I had no clue. Here's some yarrow here that came back. Y'all, I'd love to have this in ground. I'd love to have a big, huge garden in the ground. Just a big, huge herb garden. I'm trying to walk between these raised beds without falling. This is my lavender that came back. And if you've never smelled fresh lavender, you're missing out. Here's some lemon balm that came back. And of course, we've got some weeds. Over here's sweet potatoes. We've got 1, 2, 3. I think we've got 6 tubs of sweet potatoes. We don't have any of them in the ground this time. There's the chickens. Big fat fluffy chickens. Up there is the meat hogs. I don't know if you can see them or not. There's actually 3 of them. I don't know where the third one's at. There's the bathtub with the strawberries. Those are June bearing, so they're all finished. I'm going to get on the side by side now and we'll go out to the garden and take a peek out there. I want to show you our Asian pear tree. I may have to zoom in. It's full this time. I don't know. I'm kind of seeing something on the bottoms of some of them. I hope it's not some kind of fungus or something. I just noticed that. We drive past it every day. I don't know. We've never had any issues at all with these pears. Insects don't bother them. They never get any kind of disease or anything. They actually could be a little bit bigger for this time in the year. I usually start eating on them in late August. And then over here is this little, I think this is Yellow Delicious. You have to look around my clothesline there in the middle. A Yellow Delicious tree here in the yard. This tree has never had this many apples on it. So I'm pretty excited. We generally don't like to use chemicals on our trees, fruits, vegetables, anything. We try to use organic. But I don't know. We might have to spray this one with something just to be able to get apples this time, because I'm pretty excited about that. Okay, I wanted to show you this pear tree. You see the pears on it. This tree here has been here. We put this out probably not long after we moved here. I know it's been here 20 plus years. And I ordered this tree maybe from Gurney's, one of the seed catalogs. I don't even know what kind of pear it is. But it apparently was grafted with a Bradford pear tree. There's my cherry tree. Of course, it's empty. It's past cherry season. It has gone back to probably, I'm going to say 90% Bradford pear. This little bit of branches right here, well, if you look, I don't know if you could see close enough, you can see the difference in the leaves. There's like one small section of this tree that is actually edible pear tree, and the rest of it is Bradford pear. So yeah, that was a total ripoff. Okay, I hope you can hear me. I'm gonna leave this thing running. This is our tomato patch this year. There's several weeds in here, and I'll tell you what happened. Back in the spring, before we got the electric fence around it, the deers come along at night and ate the tops out of pretty much every tomato in here. There's about 60 tomato plants here, and they ate them down really low. So they're struggling. I mean, they've came back, but they're struggling, and I'm not sure I'm going to have tomatoes to can, because a lot of these, the front row are my Rutgers, most of them that I can with, and they're just not putting off a lot. And the back rows, there might be some Rutgers mixed in, but a lot of those are the bigger German tomatoes and stripy tomatoes, and you know, the bigger slicing tomatoes. I mean, they can be canned, but they don't put off as much because they have such a big core. So I don't know, I'm gonna be really upset if I don't get any tomatoes to can, because that's one thing we do use a lot of throughout the year, is the tomatoes. And then this corn, we didn't put any sweet corn out this year because I still have a little bit canned from last year, and we've still got several ears frozen. So I wanted to go ahead and get all that used up, and before we tried to fit more in the freezer, because we've got these pigs that we're going to put in the freezer this fall, so I've got to have plenty of freezer space. Here's our little bit of cabbage. Like I said, you know, we got weeds. Nothing's perfect, but you know, this is a good lesson for people. Over here's my green beans over there. The deers want to eat them down too, so we have to have electric around them. And we'll have to put electric around this corn when the ears get about ready, because the coons will eat it up. We pretty much put electric fence around all of our gardens. You know, this just shows you that you see a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of things on the internet with these perfect gardens with no weeds and everything just looks perfect and gets harvested right on time. Well, folks, this is real here. This is the real world. Sometimes it just don't happen that way. I am able to get down and pick beans now. I have done that a couple of times. But, you know, I couldn't take care of my onions like I usually do. Shut this off. You know, sometimes life is a struggle, and you just have to get through it the best you can. And like I said, we're happy. Things are weedy, but you know what? We're still getting food out of the garden. I'm still putting food up to feed us through the winter. So I don't have any complaints. Like I said, Steve puts in so much overtime in the spring. He has just run to death. And then, you know, his hay season comes on in the middle of all that. And we have cows that are calving in the middle of that. And so, you know, life's hard sometimes. But if you just keep pecking away at it, then you'll get it eventually. I'm going to take you up and show you one more thing before I wrap up here. So bear with me. Okay, here's another raised bed up close to the house. He's got a couple of watermelons growing in here. Some more. These are my Berries Crazy Cherries, the little yellow tomatoes that I like. Here's some peppers on. There's a few weeds in this one too, but it'll be okay. I see a little watermelon or two in there. I don't know if you can see that little watermelon. That's the first I've seen it. There's one. I think I see another one. I don't know if it's a watermelon or not. And there's a little... There it is, right there. That's a little dark green one. Here's our meat hogs. Let me zoom back out. There's our meat hogs. Two of them are ours and one of them belongs to Kendall and Andy. But they're going to be slaughtered this fall. Okay, here's the last thing I want to show you. If I can get in here and do the camera without falling and breaking my neck. They're usually outside. I guess they're in eating tonight. I hope you can see okay. Look here. Look at all this cuteness. Is that not the cutest thing you ever saw in your life? There's 13 of them. Oh, there's one over there between the mamas. Oh, there they go. They're growing. And they're the fastest little things. They get out and they roam all over the farm. They'll be up under the porch or they'll be out in the road. There's the mamas having their supper. Pretty cute. These are coonies. So if anybody local's interested, we've got, I think, 8 boys. All the girls are spoken for. I think we've still got 8 boys that need to go. So give me a holler, send me a message, or if you're local and can get in touch with me or come and see me, then come and see me, because they'll be ready to go. I think in a couple of weeks. I think maybe the 3rd or 4th of August they'll be ready to go. They're all good and healthy, just as fat and solid. If you're lucky enough to get a hold of one of them, they're quite a handful. But that's all I have for you today. There's the birds coming in the barn to nest, I would imagine. Barn swallows, I guess, is what they are. So I'm going to wrap up with this, and I'm glad y'all came to watch and check back again. Hopefully I can get some more cooking videos out. And I hope your gardens are all growing well and everybody's doing good. Thanks for coming. God bless.